Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, so sit back, relax, and before we fully jump on into this video, I do just want to ask guys could hit that like button. It does help the channel grow immensely, and of course I always do greatly appreciate it. So obviously, yes, this is my second XRP video today. I did want to try to put all of this into one video, but I figured I would just kind of make two because this is going to be a long video as well, talking more so about things that are happening right now around the current financial system and the future financial system. So let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So currently I'm recording this at around 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is probably going live after the indices open and things like that. So this market is going to change drastically. Usually we have a nice Bitcoin rally throughout the night before the indices do open, and then once the indices do open, they kind of rain on the parade. But I'm definitely watching Bitcoin and some altcoins closely. Bitcoin right now has been trying to fight some resistance at around the 30K zone. On the historical data, you guys can definitely see the closing points. Right now, we are closing a little bit at around like 29.6K, as we did close yesterday, if you will. Today, I'm watching to see if we close over 30K. Honestly, I'd love to see us close over the high that we made on May 15th, which was like roughly 31.3K. I want to see us break over 31.5K to get us back on a little bit of a nice tracking point. As you guys do see on the, 1 month here, the resistance zone is roughly like 31.3K that we made on the 15th, which is the highest point that we kind of broke back up to before the crashing point all the way down to the bottom on the 12th of May. So I'm definitely watching Bitcoin closely here, as we do see, the indices open today. I'm definitely going to be watching the market closely and give you guys some updates later on today. But I did want to talk to you guys about this $2 trillion that is essentially sitting idle. This is actually interesting. So we do see the Fed Reverse Repo facility use hits $2 trillion milestone first time. It's pretty significant. Now, a lot of people have been questioning this and saying, where will this money go? XRP Darren, aka Fame21 more on Twitter. Definitely go check him out and check out his YouTube channel. Incredible individual. But we do see over $2 trillion in cash was lent to the Fed overnight with reverse repo. The banks are holding $2 trillion in cash on the sidelines. Inflation is at 8.5%. They don't want it in bonds because yields have to rise. Equities are dumping. Houses aren't being sold. Where will the $2 trillion go? If you can invest before the $2 trillion gets there, you will be sitting pretty. The banks lend to each other normally. A repo or reverse repo means none of the banks want to exchange bonds or equities overnight for cash. They have to go to the Fed because it's the lender of last resort. Now, I've talked to some individuals within my Discord, specifically Encrypt30, about a possibility of the Fed adding Bitcoin to its reserves. That would be the most bullish thing that has happened since 2020. And when we talk about things happening around that specific area, to me, I would definitely be focused on that specific thing around the Fed. Because if they do add Bitcoin to the reserves, which is a shot in the dark, it is a low percentage chance, but I'm just saying there is a chance that they could do so. Crypto as we know it will start to skyrocket in value. That would also be one of the biggest bullish signals that we've seen in a very long time. But again, that is a shot in the dark, and it's pretty much a hopium, if you will. But when we look at things happening, this $2 trillion has to go somewhere. And honestly, to me, the best opportunity would be, crypto. But let me know what you guys think about that. Where do you think that this $2 trillion will go? And let me know what you would invest in if you had $2 trillion. Because to me, I would definitely go all in on some altcoins. But let me know what you guys think. Now, I do want to talk to you guys about this article that was posted earlier today. Mastercard CEO teases CBDC panel. Swift may not exist in 5 years. Now, obviously, he was joking around a little bit, but it is something to talk about because I do want to talk to you guys about this a little bit. So we do see here, had people gasp when he answered no when asked if Swift, the current interbank messaging system that allows for cross-border payments, will exist in 5 years' time. He smiled during his answer, but the crowd oohed and awed, similarly, taking his answer seriously. Now, of course, he did talk about this at the WEF Summit hosted by Global Blockchain Business Council that discussed the future of cross-border payments and the potential of CBDCs in the financial system. If you can get a payment, with all the data attached that you need as a company, the cost savings of that, in addition to a payment cost that is lowered and the overall productivity boost, we could expect if we do this well, that's the real goal here. Now, some payment systems are already doing this, and I don't want to tout the name Ripple, but they have already achieved this. And I think that that is an area that we should definitely be focused on because, as we do look at Swift, Ripple has never been trying to compete with Swift. They've never been trying to disrupt Swift to the point where we replace them. But we've definitely been trying to complement them and actually, improve their financial system by allowing for instant settlement and for cross-border payments to be as cheap as possible. And I think that that's a great area to focus on, and I think that that's what we'll most likely see. But you also have to beg the question on, will Swift be around for another 5 years? And we do see a few people were talking about this. Director of the Digital Dollar Project, and also the CEO of Digital Asset, and also even the director at Accenture and co-founder of Digital Dollar Project. They were saying, basically Swift will still exist in 5 years. But we also do see down here, was the only one to express the belief that maybe in the near future it might not be the dominant system to transfer money across continents. But of course, they also seem to think that Swift may one day be replaced, but said that 5 years won't likely be enough time. Now, again, we do see down here, let us clarify the intent of the onstage comment, as it's not as simple as a yes or no answer. He was basically reinforcing that Swift has previously said their operations continue to evolve. Its current form will not be the same in the future. They are adding more functionality and moving past just being a messaging system. To me, I think that we should definitely pay attention to talks around this. I mean, if you think about Swift and you think about things that are happening around the Swift, network, it is extremely inefficient. And, as we do see those inefficiencies being spotlighted on, we definitely see a lot of other payment networks, sparking up and basically becoming the future, financial systems of tomorrow, if you will. But they're not going to, I would say that they're not going to kill Swift, because Swift is still the chosen network, if you will. But, we did see a lot of banks starting to pull out of Swift. We've seen a lot of banks pulling out of Swift. We also seen a lot of financial institutions pulling out of Swift, and it's because they also see the dollar cost savings utilizing something like RippleNet, which we've seen the efficiencies being spotlighted on. So to me, I don't think that we need to try to kill Swift. I think that Swift will ultimately kill itself by its inefficiencies. Let me know what you guys think about that down in the comments below as well. Now, we also do see from Lark Davis, IMF director, said Bitcoin may be called a coin, but it's not money. A prerequisite for something to be called money is to be a stable store of value. Here's a chart of the US dollar over time. I guess down only is stable. And this is also why I've always said that the spending power behind the dollar is essentially useless. I utilize the U.S. dollar on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I live in the United States. I shop at the grocery store. I buy things, and as you do see the dollar cost, or I shouldn't say the dollar cost, the dollar power that you have in terms of purchasing power, it's diminished greatly. I remember, as a kid, I would go grocery shopping with my parents, and $20 would get you a full cart. $20 now gets you possibly 2-3 items, if that. I know that if you shop in bulk, $20 could essentially get you just one item. So to me, the spending power behind the dollar is, essentially useless, and it's gone. So when we look at things happening around the US dollar, I mean, I don't even think that this is a good, I would say I don't really hold the US dollar. To be completely honest with you guys and to be completely transparent with you, a lot of my money is in investment opportunities. It's within crypto and also outside of crypto. And I've discussed this. I've talked to you guys about where I am positioned at within business ventures and things like that. Honestly, I don't foresee the US dollar being something that I would like to hold long term. I almost kind of look at it as Tether, right? I don't hold my money in Tether because of the same issues. I don't like the risk associated with it. I don't like the risk associated with the US dollar as it is inflated, one, and the spending power of it has diminished greatly since, the beginning of time, if you will. So honestly, when we look at the US dollar, I think that it is a failed currency. I think that it's been a failed currency for a very long time. But we also do see over here, so again, as we talk about Ripple and XRP, we talk about the SEC lawsuit a lot. Wall Street bank lobby lines up against a US digital dollar. This is actually pretty significant. So we do see down here, Wall Street lenders are calling on the US government to hold off on launching a digital dollar, arguing that a virtual currency backed by the Federal Reserve risks draining hundreds of billions of dollars out of the banking system. I'm telling you guys, these bankers need to be protected. That's why XRP was targeted initially, in my opinion, because we were taking massive money out of those middlemen that were taking up a ton of those fees within cross-border payments. You got to realize when you target something like that, you put a target on your back. We do see down here an American Central Bank digital currency, or CBDC as it's known, would act as a direct competitor to private bank deposits and make credit less available to businesses and households, according to the American Bankers Association and the Bank Policy Institute. The trade groups were responding to a Fed discussion paper released in January that laid out the potential benefits and risk of launching a virtual tender. As we have evaluated the likely impacts of issuing a CBDC, it has become clear that the purported benefits of a CBDC are uncertain and unlikely to be realized, while the costs are real and acute. And based on the analysis, we do not see a compelling use case for the CBDC in the United States today. It is laughable when we look at things like this. I mean, honestly, you can clearly see where these bankers are basically positioned. You can see the hand that they're dealing as well. They want to protect their money that they're basically making off of you, me, and everybody that is transacting on a day-to-day basis. This goes for high value payments. This goes for companies, corporations. They are making a ton of money off of these massive fees. They don't want a CBDC to be ushered in because it kills off their monopoly essentially. So to me, I find this funny. Let me know what you guys think about that. And it really does show you exactly why XRP was targeted as well. Also, we just hear the American Bankers Association is warning that a digital dollar risks draining hundreds of billions of dollars out of the banking system. Remember, I said a central bank digital currency is coming for commercial banks. They are a little late, but they get it now. And honestly, a lot of people are definitely laughing at this. I mean, honestly, it is a perfect time to usher in a CBDC because I think that killing those commercial banks that are they are massively price gouging payments just to make a ton of money off of these massive fees. I think that is probably the best way to usher in a new system is by killing off those bottom feeders, if you will. But yeah, I think that a CBDC will definitely clear up a lot of capital. I think that it really will disrupt massive amounts of money, but also unlock a ton of capital as well. And we've also seen Ripple kind of focus on that area themselves. But I also don't like a CBDC that is retail focused. I've always addressed my concerns around that. Also, we did see Ripple actually post banks and other financial intermediaries are increasingly, exploring how they can offer digital assets to their customers. Learn how financial institutions can navigate the intersection of crypto and traditional finance using our latest research and partnership with Oliver Wyman. Guys, I'm telling you guys, you got to pay attention to things that Ripple's focused on. This is this is the OG bankers token, if you will. Everybody always touted it as that, and now they are welcoming financial institutions into this market with open hands because they expect massive amounts of money to flow in. It's funny that we've seen the market shift that way. Because everyone was really kind of talking about XRP back in 2017, but there was a ton of hate around it saying that it is a bankers token, it's centralized, it's this, it's that. And now everybody is welcoming, again, financial institutions, bankers, and things like that into this market. It's just laughable. But you could definitely see where Ripple is positioned. You could also see where XRP is positioned as a settlement and bridge currency on the Ripple network. So to me, I definitely think that Ripple and XRP will definitely continue to succeed long term in this game. But I do want to share with you guys one last thing, and that is Graham Bright, ex-Swift and current head of operations at Euro XM Bank. In the current video, he explains why they chose Ripple's X-Rapid product. Euro XM Bank sales team exceeds 1,000 people covering 35 plus countries. And I'm going to finish off the video with this. Listen closely to this video, guys.
So why did we choose X-Rapid? We need our clients to be able to pay us in their local currency. It's very difficult for them to get hold of dollars in some of the jurisdictions in which we operate. So we need to make it easy to move funds as easily and as cost effectively as possible. You'll notice the 4 V's that we have on there. So the first one, velocity, the speed. Speed is absolutely important here. The speed of transmission.
Also, I just want you guys to understand that he is focusing on settlement first out of the gate. Settlement is one of the biggest crucial areas that a lot of these banks focus on.
Speed of settlement, to understand how quickly we can move a transaction in a trusted way from one correspondent to another. The volumes. In trade, we're looking at low volume, high value. However, our drive in the bank is to move more towards high volume, low value. We're picking up more customers with lower values, but with many more of them in the market. Veracity is knowing and trusting what's happening in the background. At the conference I was at yesterday, they were saying a bank can't even trust another bank when you're doing trade. So not only send me an instruction, send me a confirmation as well, because I don't trust you. Now, if banks don't trust each other, how can we ensure that a client, a corporate client, is going to get the best value where they're doing a particular trade activity? Last one there is the value. How can we ensure value right across the chain? Am I going to get penalized when my goods arrive in a port? Everything was fine, I know what the final value should be, and then suddenly I'm hit with either a tariff, I'm sanctioned by some particular authority, and suddenly the value of my goods, the value may stay the same, but what price I'm paying is completely different. And again, in emerging economies, in Africa, in the Far East, in those areas which we serve, it becomes very difficult for those clients to be competitive in the market.
And that's exactly why Ripple, in terms of its network, will continue to succeed. These major banks need something like this. You got to understand that all of these major countries, it's hard for them to have, the US dollar in hands. That's why we utilize the SWIFT network, because SWIFT essentially takes that money and kind of converts the currency, if you will, through their massive $27 trillion that they hold in reserves in terms of liquidity in notional Vostro accounts. That's why it takes so long. That's why the fees are astronomical. Things are, a problem area within SWIFT because of the SWIFT network and how it was actually designed. We need to step away from that. We need to usher in a revolution around the current financial system. And things are moving rapidly within that area as well. So I definitely think that Ripple, in terms of what it's actually trying to build, as well as XRP, right? XRP being the liquidity source and the bridge currency, if you will, and the settlement token on RippleNet, is essentially going to be the star player, if you will. And it hasn't been utilized the way that it's probably properly supposed to be utilized because of regulatory uncertainty. And I think that once we do get that regulations or that regulatory clarity, that's when XRP really steals the show. So with that in mind, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. Then you guys can check me out on Twitter and also join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you guys are on this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.